This will be a demonstration of the Quickdraw weaving program's printer controls. Under the File menu, as with most software, I can start with Print Setup to tell me where I want to print things to. The print would actually tell it to go straight to the printer with the item. The Print Preview will show me what the page is going to look like before I print and commit the paper. Print Page Setup is where Quickdraw is a little bit different. In this case, I've got a very simple pattern. So I've got a limited number of options on what I want to print. And let me walk in with a little bit more complicated pattern to show that more detail. This is a pattern that was developed from the grid. I have a fairly simple little box. I've done a block profile substitution as a lace, as a Bronson lace. So this is where the pattern had come from. Now with that reference, let me walk through what the print page setup choices are. If I ask for the summary, it will give me the basic program information. The threading diagram will show me how the loom would need to be threaded and treadled. If I ask for a print preview now, the summary will tell me the name of the file, where it is, the number of harnesses, the number of treadles, the type of loom, comment that I put into the program initially. The threading draft is here. It will tell me how many heddles on each shaft. It will tell me the number of threads and the size of the thread if they're different. So I have 96 threads in black, 96 threads in white was what was in the pattern here. It will tell me the longest floats in the patterns, where they are on the front and the rear of the pattern. The threading, treadling diagrams physically show me that information without the drawdown, so I can print a lot of information on a screen. Instead of the threading, treadling diagrams, I do a low-res printout. I can go back in, do another print preview, and I'll overlay the printed page on these. The threading diagram, the treadling, the tie-up, it will actually fill in here. The print preview has a hard time with the graphics formats I'm using. So the printing will actually show the full diagram as overlaid. If I ask for high resolution, I look at a print preview now, it's going to give me one high resolution repeat, which I'm kind of looking at multiple repeats of the pattern there. So if I ask for repeats, I can now get a little bit more information. Print preview, it'll actually show me 4 repeats on the page, and the printed page would fill in that little box there again. The finished and a print preview will actually show me what the finished pattern will look like with the thread deflections and that kind of stuff. So that would fill in. In this particular case, since I did it on the grid and I did do block substitution, I have that information available. If I ask for a print preview now, it's going to give me just that block diagram, which would be the boxes there, and it would show me for each one of the 3 blocks in the pattern what the pattern tie-up is and the treadling substitutions, so I can actually see where that pattern really came from. Okay, this is another pattern. This was a long network draft that I'd done. Let me switch to the network review real quickly. So there was with the pattern line that I'd originally entered, the ribbon that I'd rotated to position. So if I actually go back in and do a print page setup now, because of the nature of this pattern, since I did a network creation, I now have a network view I can ask for, along with a summary. So if I ask for a print page preview, it's going to give me the same summary information since I asked for it there. The network design shows me the network design line on 32 shafts. It was compressed to 8, so here's the compressed design line. It shows me the initial, the background key, the overlay key, and the ribbon. Now, if I had asked for a high resolution printout, and look at that print preview again, it would then add that information. So on one page, I've got a lot of design information, and the printed would actually fill in that content. And that walks through the basic printer capabilities. Thank you now. This will be a quick update to the printing. If I go to the print page setup, one of the problems we bumped into is depending upon which version of Windows you're on, the print scale changes. So what I ended up doing was adding the double button. On Windows 10, things look pretty much normal. If I look at a print preview, it's going to show me what I expect to see from that pattern. If I were doing the same thing on Windows XP or some of the earlier Windows, I would see one, the window would occupy a quarter of the screen, so it'd be half the size it should be. So the double button, when it's highlighted, if I now look at a print preview, you'll notice I'm only getting a quarter of the page, so that if I hit that on the older version of Windows, I'd get a full page printout. So that's a workaround of a problem. I'm not sure what the source was. So that's why that's there. Thank you. Bye now.